Thanks for joining us today. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Geun in Seoul. We have plenty on our plate today, so let's get started with a look at the day's highlights. Korea's medical industry is hoping to boost relations with Iran so that it can find more opportunities in the new Middle East market, as well as share its know-hows. The 4-day weekend is coming up here in Korea, starting with Children's Day this Thursday, and retailers are putting together various events to attract more customers. We have these stories and more coming right up. We begin in Tehran, where President Park Geun-hye is in the last push to drum up support for Korea's largest ever business delegation traveling with her to seek new opportunities in Iran. President Park is now attending a business forum linking Korean companies with local buyers, where she will once again set the stage to create a stronger network between Korean and Iranian businesses. At one-on-one consultations held with local buyers on Monday, over 900 meetings took place between 123 Korean companies and 494 Iranian buyers. Now, the event produced deals worth $500 million, setting a new record in both the amount and participating number of foreign buyers. Seoul and Tehran will also beef up support by setting up a Korea desk and an Iran desk at their respective trade agencies. And Korea's oil imports from Iran more than doubled in the first 3 months of this year after international sanctions on Tehran were lifted in January. According to industry data, imports of Iranian crude oil and ultralight oil condensates stood at 22.85 million barrels in the January to March period, up 128% from a year ago. By value, Korea's oil imports from Iran jumped nearly 18% on year to nearly $630 million in the first quarter of the year. Industry watchers say condensates, which are used as feedstock for oil refining and other petrochemical industries, drove the increase in imports. And following yesterday's historic meeting between the leaders of Korea and Iran, we take a look at how the two countries can boost cooperation in the healthcare and medical sectors and open a new door of opportunities for Korean industries in Iran's medical market.
In Iran, the demand is growing for new advanced medical equipment and technology after being freed from decades of sanctions that had pummeled the nation's economy. The effort to further upgrade the country's health and medical industries comes at a time when the general health status of the Iranian public has improved significantly over the past 2 decades, thanks to the expansion of public healthcare services. And during President Park Geun-hye's visit to Iran, among the slew of MOUs signed between the two countries were deals for Korea to take part in hospital construction projects while introducing elements of its healthcare industry.
양국 간 보건 의료 협력을 확대하는 한편 IT, 에너지 신산업, 환경 등 다양한 고부가가치 신산업 분야에서 양국 간 협력 사례를 확대 발굴해 나가기로 하였습니다.
With the two sides agreeing to boost ties in the areas of medicine and healthcare, Seoul and Tehran will now work to not only build up the necessary infrastructure, but also improve Iran's healthcare system.
Will Korea's medical industry be able to benefit from a potential boom in the Iranian market? With other countries eyeing Iran ever since economic sanctions were lifted back in January, Korea's medical and health industries are also getting ready to jump into this new market. And to tell us more about what Korea can do to successfully break into Iran's medical market and what opportunities are there, we're now joined by Ryu Jong-su, the International Group Commissioner of Korea's Health Insurance Review Agency. So good to have you join us today.
Good to be here.
All right, so there are high hopes that Korea's medical industry will find opportunities in this new Iranian medical market, especially considering that Iran depends mostly on exports when it comes to medical equipment. So how big is Iran's medical market right now? And also, what kind of potential do you see in this market for Korea?
Iran is certainly a great market for the Korean medical equipment and hospital management and or general the medical industry. Last 15 years of economic sanction, the general hospital level as well as the tertiary hospital level, the all medical industry, Iran has been desperate and deprived, which means that we can expect annual growth at least 18 to 25%
Wow.
each year in terms of equipment-wise and the pharmaceutical, as well as the hospital building. And there are, I think, 3 points where that the Korea can really use this opportunity. One is the hospitals need to upgrade their current facility, which means that the Korea's hospital building construction companies can certainly take good work in that
So it's
area,
for
right?
the construction area,
Right,
too.
and then second piece is again that as it's the same as the building new hospitals, where that financing as well as a whole new hospital devices, and also that means hospital information system where that you can see the IT based management system can be used as well. And thirdly, I think this is something that we think would benefit so much is what so far the hospital management experience that Korea has really showing one of the best top in the world, where that many top 5, 6 hospitals here in Seoul really attract so many foreign visitors to see that how effectively we manage these hospitals.
Now, at this point, we're wondering then, what has the relationship been like for Iran, between Iran and Korea, when it comes to exchanges in the fields of medical treatment and health?
Luckily, in terms of public sector, we have started in terms of Korea, the health insurance review and assessment service, HIRA, called HIRA or Sinpyeongwan, started the work with Iran 2.5 years ago,
All right.
which was there before even the
Sanctions were lifted.
So since then, the high delegation, including the National Assembly members and head of National Health Insurance, also head of the private insurance providers come to visit HIRA, and also the HIRA visited them, and to really design how we can share our experience with them. And also the other point is how we can really accelerate their hope to build the gap between what has been not done in Iran.
All right. Well, one thing to note here is that Korea's health insurance system has received a lot of overseas praise, and Iran is also eyeing this system as well. Tell us more about it.
The government of Iran, the current government, would like to really win over the popularity from their people. As you see, the over 15 years that the stagnation of their economy, certainly government need to have win over the people's favor. So what's happening here is one of the core policy they see is the welfare and the health insurance. Health insurance-wise, as you can see, the Korea, what we have built is based on ICT. It means artificial intelligence-based the expenditure control and the quality assessment. That over probably 20 years of experience has been accumulated. So we call collective intelligence is being sort of based. And what they would like to see is the current expansion of health insurance system in Iran. Now they expanded means bring in 80 million more people into their health insurance system.
Wow.
And that means that they need to monitor the spending. So if effectively control spending is definitely what the Korea has big name for that in the world.
So if Korea does end up exporting its health insurance system to Iran, then how big of an economic impact will this have?
This means that, first of all, I think in terms of a concept of the exports, of financial gaining, certainly when you come to trading or exchange experience in terms of public goods, it's not necessary to bring in money right away. It's like teaching language. You may not gain the money by teaching Korean to other country, other people. But however, what's happening here is that the building the Korea's IT-based the system certainly need to have our SI engineers need to go there, and then also you can sell hardwares. But more importantly, what would be followed is the medical device and the Korean pharmaceutical companies and the Korean hospital management system. So you can see that what expansion of the following the industrial the opportunities are very great.
All right. Well, so what should Korea do in order for its medical and health industries to successfully enter this profitable, potentially going to be bigger market, Iranian market?
We need to have first trust the building process, and secondly, we need to really the tailor the customer tailored design of providing services to them. Not that what we would like to sell, but that what they wanted to have. And localization. And also they would like to work with in terms of process, not ending product. That means we need to share our technology, our knowledge with them to make final product.
All right. We'll definitely look forward to what Iran has to offer from here on out. Thank you so much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
We're seeing signs of Korea's consumer prices stabilizing as inflation came in at the 1% range for a third straight month in April. Still, the indicator is below the central bank's target, while prices of everyday goods have surged. Our Hwang Jae tells us more.
Statistics Korea says consumer prices rose 1% last month from a year ago. This marks the third straight month of an increase in the 1% range, a stark contrast from last year when price growth remained in the 0% range except for the last 2 months. The rise comes despite low global oil prices that dragged prices down overall by about half a percentage point as prices of agricultural and fisheries products jumped. The prices of farm produce that are closely related to people's daily lives rose 5.5% in April from the previous year. Service prices, which includes housing rental fees, also rose 2.2%. So while items from the demand side that make people feel like prices are running high led the overall rise, it was the plunging oil prices from the supply side that kept the prices still well below the central bank's new target of 2%. The finance ministry says, though, the country's core inflation, which excludes volatile agricultural and petroleum products, rose 1.8%. The ministry adds the downside pressure on inflation will let up down the road as global oil prices will gradually pick up pace. Hwang Jae, Business Daily.
Retailers are getting busy ahead of the 4-day Children's Day weekend this week, as the temporary holiday could provide a 1 trillion won boost for the country's businesses. Our Eunice Kim has the story.
With the government designating the Sandwiched Friday a temporary holiday late last week, many Koreans are revving up plans to capitalize on the surprise 4-day weekend, and so are retailers. A large-scale sale event is already underway at a convention center in Seoul as the Family Month offers many reasons to pick up gifts.
We're going on a trip with the longer holiday, so I'm here to pick up sunglasses for the kids and some clothes for myself.
Retailers big and small are launching special sales to lure customers ahead of the 4-day weekend. Last year, a temporary holiday designated ahead of Liberation Day in August, which set up a 3-day weekend, had a 1.3 trillion won value-added effect. With one more day, struggling retailers are hopeful they will beat that effect, notably as the days off overlap with spring tourism weeks as designated by the Tourism Ministry, a time when the country is flooded with an influx of vacationers from China and Japan.
Restaurants here are almost always packed a day before a holiday, so we expect the same throughout the whole 4-day weekend.
But one person's holiday is another person's workday. Some criticize the last-minute move as creating more burden for businesses not prepared to give their workers a day off. Instead, they'll have to shoulder additional holiday pay for the extra hours worked.
This should not be a one-shot thing. We need to see a fundamental reduction in work hours, be it in limiting overtime or in shorter work weeks.
While a spurt in spending appears likely, a longer-term boost in consumer demand looks to require more thoughtful planning. Eunice Kim, Business Daily.
The number of people flying in and out of Korea reached a record high in the first 3 months of this year, thanks to lower fuel costs. The Transportation Ministry said Tuesday Korea's air passenger traffic hit a record of 24.37 million during the January to March period, up 12.4% from a year ago. The number of international passengers increased by over 13% from the year before to 17.6 million, and the number of domestic travelers rose 10.4% to nearly 7 million. The ministry says expanded flight routes by budget carriers and lower travel costs on the back of falling oil prices all played a big part in the rise in overseas passengers. On the domestic side, the ministry cited more people flying to Jeju Island. And that wraps it up for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more business news that matters to you. Until then, goodbye.